Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the meeting. First of all, we would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Robinson Superior Treaty Territory and that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe. I'd like to start by saying that this Thursday at 8:30 in the morning, this office will be open to the public, and the rest of our buildings, facilities will have it on the Schreiber Facebook page later in the day, but the arena and the halls will be open Monday to 50%, and the rest of the stuff will be posted. Okay, can I get approval of the agenda for the open session?
Yep.
Any disclosures of interest? Hearing none, we got no delegations for tonight. Move right into the meeting. Minutes of the previous meetings. Resolution 15-22, moved by Councillor Morrow, seconded by Councillor McGrath, that the minutes of the Council and Committee of the Whole meeting held January 11th, 2022 be accepted as circulated. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Okay, Committee of the Whole recommendations, Resolution 16-22, moved by Councillor McGrath, seconded by Councillor Stefuric. The Council approved the payment of invoice 9211-7241 from Strongco in the amount of $11,358.68 plus applicable taxes, and the payment of invoice 9211-7699 from Strongco in the amount of $4,000 plus applicable taxes for repair work to the 2015 Volvo G960B grader. All those discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried.
All right.
Resolution 17-22, moved by Councillor Morrow, seconded by Councillor McGrath. That Council accept the quotation from Strongco in the amount of $70,093.47 plus applicable taxes to replace the hydraulic transmission on the 2015 Volvo G960B grader. Discussion? If we pass this, are we discussing with them about the rental? Is this not going to come off?
Yeah, there is discussions about rental fee if they're taking longer than promised. So it's possible we rent from Steve Ward but it's all being billed through Strongco, so they would modify the price of the transmission to compensate for the extra rent.
So, but in passing this, we'll still be able to do that.
Yes,
Okay,
we
no,
would likely
no
get
problem.
some sort of
I
adjustment.
just wanted to make sure. Okay, all those in favor then? Carried. Resolution 18-22, moved by Councillor McGrath, seconded by Councillor Stefuric, that council accept the quotation from Cole Darling Limited in the amount of $12,680 plus applicable taxes to replace the motor and blower assembly on the roof mounted engineered air heating unit at the Schreiber Municipal Complex. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 19-22, moved by Councillor Stefuric, seconded by Councillor McGrath, that the Council of the Township of Schreiber support the resolution of the City of St. Catharines with respect to the request for the provincial government to work with the federal government on a bilateral agreement to ensure that the new national child care program can be made available. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Which one was that, 17?
You're on 19.
I'm on 19.
Oh, no, sorry.
Will be 21.
Okay.
You just did 19, sorry.
Accounts for payment. Resolution 20-22, moved by Councillor McGrath, seconded by Councillor Morrow, that bank debits paid out of the general bank account in the month of November 2021 in the amount of $37,708.64, and in the month of December 2021 in the amount of $50,120.88 be approved and ratified. Discussion?
That figure there for Aqua, December was 25,000 roughly. Does that vary much month by month, or?
No, that's their monthly contract.
Oh, it is, okay.
That's what the figure comes to.
Yeah.
All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 21-22, moved by Councillor Stefuric, seconded by Councillor McGrath. The council approved the quotation from Superior Country in the amount of $3,500 plus applicable taxes to allow for the Schreiber Discovery Center to be listed as a stamped location under Superior Country's 2022 Lakes Superior Circle Tour Adventure Guide and that the 2022 economic development advertising budget be increased by $3,000 to a total of $8,000. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Other business, resolution 22-22, moved by Councillor McGrath, seconded by Councillor Morrow, that bylaw 3-2022 being a bylaw to constitute and appoint a committee of adjustment in the Township of Schreiber be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. All those in favor? Carried. Resolution 23-22, moved by Councillor Stefuric, seconded by Councillor McGrath. That bylaw 4-2022 being a bylaw to establish an emergency management program for the protection of public safety, health, the environment, the critical infrastructure and property, and to promote economic stability and a disaster resilient community be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Resolution 24-22, moved by Councillor Stefuric, seconded by Councillor Morrow. That bylaw 5-2022 being a bylaw to enter into a memorandum of understanding between the Township of Schreiber and the Schreiber Public Library be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. And resolution 25-22, moved by Councillor McGrath, seconded by Councillor Stefuric. Bylaw 6-2022, being a bylaw to enter into a memorandum of understanding between the Township of Schreiber and the North of Superior Travel Association Incorporated, be given first, second, third, and final reading and enacted. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried.
This picnic table. Did anybody get a picture of it, or what it's gonna look like?
Oh, that's a good point. I can ask Dominic to forward what it looks like.
That'll be replacing the one that you hauled in there, I guess, right?
Which one was that?
That,
Where is it?
picnic table on,
At the lookout.
at the lookout. Could put a picnic table up there worth $2,375, so. Must be,
You mean above Schreiber Beach?
yeah.
Well, I guess, I can't remember, we screwed that together up there, I can't recall.
Yeah, I remember seeing that picture even there and all that.
Okay, we'll move into the committee of the whole portion of the meeting, department reports and committee board minutes. First up is treasurer report, treasurer capital borrowing renewals.
Recommendation from the treasurer that staff be directed to bring forward the respective capital borrowing renewal bylaws.
Any question on that, guys? No, for sure.
The residual amount is what's left owing, I assume. Is that what that means?
Yep.
So it's a long ways down.
Yeah, past the halfway point.
Yeah, and borrowing rate's still pretty good.
And then some, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, number 2, Director of Operations reports, just update. You got any? You wanna talk to that, Nathan or Tammy?
Tammy, is there any highlights you want to bring up?
We're still hoping to see the grader shortly. There is going to be a little bit of a delay, but hopefully not more than a week. The air unit is on par to meet with the original timelines. They've done a lot of work to it, and it's just about ready for the new parts to arrive. Water is all training. We're all registered and we're scheduled to write in March.
Good.
The outdoor rink is open. We're talking with Stantec, getting ready for the Ontario Street reline. So we're all getting prepared with what it takes to get that off the ground. And the sewer treatment plant, the pump, the motor for the pump arrived on Monday, and Public Works helped them get it into the building. So we have an electrician down there installing that now.
Okay. That's good stuff. You and Nathan got a tour going tomorrow too, I understand.
Yes, of both facilities, both the sewage treatment plant and the water distribution plant.
Great, that's good to get familiarized with it. Great, good stuff. Number 3, Senior Program Coordinators Report, November and December.
Yeah, I guess, I could, speak to that. Not too much going on right now with the new influx of COVID. We're still meeting as a committee. I mean, we're trying to plan ahead for the future. Most of the programs are right now suspended, so we're still getting lots of hits on Facebook. People are certainly interested in what's going on, so as of January 31st, I guess the question is, how will that affect this facility here? When we're not reopening here, January 31st.
We do have an issue over on this side here.
So
with
that's gonna be closed off until that heating issue is repaired, so we won't have anything going on over there, period, until that's fixed up.
Not until, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the update on that.
Could I just get back to number 2 for a second? I didn't quite catch you in time there. What is this Ontario street reline all about?
That's the relining of the water line.
Oh, the water line.
Section, couples, the east section, or the west section and the east section are both getting a little bit of dirty water.
Right.
And so what they come down and do is they'll reline the inside of the water line.
Oh.
And then cut out your services or
Oh, yeah.
whatever they do there, and I forget the name of that. But yeah, that's what that's about, just relining the 2 sections of water line there.
You mean on either side of?
One's down by Chris Krause's street, that little section there, and the other one is by across the highway to Brian Birch's there in the field, and then across the highway over by Brian Birch's
The other
old
end.
house. Yeah, the other end,
Okay.
both ends.
Oh. Huh. Thank you.
Number 4, Recreation and Festivals Committee minutes. I guess you want to speak to that too, Dan?
Yeah. Yeah, our geocaching project, that's been put on hold until spring, and Heritage Days, we're planning for. I mean, we wanna go full bore with Heritage Days, but we're certainly affected by whatever's happening with COVID, and we're gonna hope for the best and plan for for the whole 10 days, Heritage Days. We have a plan for that, and if COVID restrictions are in place, then we will be scaling back. And that's the same with Winter Carnival. We have a meeting tomorrow on Winter Carnival to see how we're gonna move forward. It could be scaled back to a 1-day event, and the 2 events would take place on that day, a sliding party and a hike. And depending on COVID, we can scale it up. So I mean, we're held hostage right now with what's ever going on with COVID. So we'll move ahead when we can, and we'll scale back when we have to.
Okay, thanks. Occupational Health and Safety Committee meeting minutes. Everybody's okay with them? Hearing none. Question period.
Questions?
No questions. Okay, we'll jump right into communications. I guess we're gonna support number 3. Request for resolution support, Noma?
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Um, Not much to communications, so, okay. Request the resolution support for that one then, and, move into unfinished business, 2022 preliminary budget.
Yeah, Marlene is there in case,
Marlene, you want to speak to any of this, like we're, the economic development?
So the departments that are on the agenda for tonight are the economic development, the fire department operating, the fire department capital, and the library operating. So we're on track with the schedule that council received early or late in 2021 for what departments we wanted to see which month. And it's just to remember that these are really exactly what they say they are, preliminary budget. I suppose the word that has been left out are requests. I'm not, with the economic development, although the numbers at the bottom may be somewhat startling, what I would say is, the biggest increase to the budget for 2022 will be the Discovery Center, interpretive center. And we knew that was going to happen. This is based on the Discovery Center being open for approximately 2 of the months for July and August, which is normal hours of operation that it will be open. The one thing to remember here is that we are budgeting for summer students. In here, we have applied for the summer students for funding for them, but it's too early to, I think the application doesn't close, I think it's Thursday. So as soon as we know whether or not we've been approved for any, then we can adjust accordingly. The other thing is the increase to the advertising budget for that earlier agenda item, that $3,000, and that $3,000 had actually been originally approved by council in September of 28, or on September 28th of 21, so that was part of that. Mayor Mullins may be able to speak better on the mural project that's in there, and the one highlighted item in there is merchandise. So it's to determine what that amount of what council wants to contribute, or if we're going to go with previous ways of selling merchandise. So right now, it is the rec committee that the reserve puts forward the money to purchase inventory for the apparel, and then any apparel that's sold, that any profits from it go to the recreation committee. So the question was whether or not that was going to be the model that was going to be used at the Tourist Information Center for the apparel and any other little bits of merchandise, whatever it is that you're going to go in there and buy. How much is it that you really want to spend? So those would be the bigger things in that operating department.
Is there like a plan for what that merchandise would be, or is it just generic Schreiber stuff?
Dominic and Evan are looking into that, and part of it is, clothing, and another part of it is also looking at sort of this rail related
Yeah.
merchandise.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if merchandise is being specifically sold there, should that not go through economic development as revenue then? Doesn't that make sense? Instead of funneling through the rec? Or does it matter?
Marlene, did you want to comment on that?
I think that I think it just needs to be clear whatever the decision's gonna be. And then, I think what would be helpful is if we had an idea of what the plan is for what type. I think it would be important to have kind of a number in there. I wouldn't even venture a guess on how much, let's just, and I'm not saying that these are the examples, but let's say you're gonna buy whistles or even a keychain whistle, or one of the ideas I thought was very good, was a shot glass. So I don't know how many of those or how much they would be, but I think it's to have a general idea. And I suppose the bigger thing, if the only area that we're going to be spending or selling the apparel is out of the Discovery Center, right? The question is, do you want to combine the apparel and the merchandise together as one? And then put it through the Discovery Center? That might be the easiest.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
And then, so are you anticipating 2 students? Is that why the number's so big for the summer students?
So what's before you right there, actually, we've applied for 3 summer
That's
students.
for 3, okay, I just wasn't sure how much you were applying for, okay.
And so what I would say is our economic development manager does have a contingency plan, whether to do the 3 students or the 2 students. So,
Okay.
but the preliminary budget here as is this is sort of the utopia that we would say that we would look for 3 students
Okay.
to be able to do that.
And the 3,000 for the murals is to carry on with the mural project. The 10 murals that were put up last year, we want to go ahead and do 3 more. So 3,000 will cover 3 more. You're probably going to be around 24, 25 for 3 murals. So we're under there.
What's the purpose of the 53,000 with the natural gas there? What's that all about?
So that's just remind council that that's the balance of what you had committed previously for that project. Nathan would have a better idea if, and I'm not sure whether even we have an update on that project, but the remaining amount that had been committed as a transfer from reserve on that project was the 53,000. So it's to keep it. I didn't have anything that date that said that there were any expenses incurred in 2021.
Right.
So it's just to remember that we do have to keep that in there because that is already previously committed, very previous. I think it's way back in 2019.
Yeah.
Right.
Fortunately, we've not had really any updates recently. We were waiting for to get the project financed through the province, and that did not work out. I think they're still waiting to get approval as well as looking for other sources of funding. So I'll let you know if there are any updates from, again, Marathon is taking the lead on this project.
Right.
Did you want to move to the fire department operating
Yeah,
now?
may as well go to the preliminary there.
Is our fire chief in attendance today?
Pardon me?
He's not here.
No.
No, okay, I just wasn't sure because I can't tell from here. So, so this, again, before you, and what I would say for even the previous one is that where the year end, the 2021 actuals, there, we still are working on the finalizing of the year end, and those numbers as well. So, the operating budget here is very in line. The one thing that I would say is there will be a little bit of an increase to expenses in particular to the insurance for the pumpers, because the amounts that are in here were the 2021 premiums, but we do have that figure now for the 2022, and we do know that the overall insurance increase is significant for 2022. And I wanted to also say that there are some final call revenues that have to be posted in here. There were some highway calls later in the year that have to be recorded as revenue and submitted to the ministry, which they've been submitted to the ministry. They just have to be set up as a receivable at the end of the year. So this operating is looking pretty good. Other than, like I said, just the minor ones to the insurance premium.
Yeah.
For the capital budget request, our fire chief has really trimmed it down for this year, in that there, as we know, in each and every department, and probably the majority of municipalities around, a funding, there's a deficit, right, an infrastructure deficit, and we do have some very old stuff. So this will be incorporated into the overall capital when it comes forward. But as you can see, the majority of the items that he's identified on here, he's also listed as critical. In 2021, I believe the request for equipment and gear and communications, and that, I think it was 41.6, I think was the total that was requested. So there's a bit of an increase in here over 2021. So again, that's just for your reference. We're not looking for any kind of commitment in anything at this point in time for any of the operating or the capital that's before you right now. The bunker gear on this one, or turnout gear, kind of interchangeable there, that is the annual allotment. The wilderness on that second part where it says equipment, wilderness rescue equipment and wildland forestry. That is mostly hose for forest fires, basically. So that is that. And then the other department that is here is the library department. It too is very in line. This is the basically does not include the building costs for the library. This is just the programming portion of it. One of the particular project that they do have going forward in 2022 is a digitization project that has been on the books for a number of years, but it appears that it is finally going forward. So that's a very good news story. And the librarian wanted me to let everybody know that she will be requesting a delegation to council at a later date to talk about their year end and what projects they have. So, which really don't have anything to do with the budget here, but she will be coming to speak to council to give you an update on things. So.
Okay. Any questions on any of that?
No, I'm good.
No?
I'm good.
No, that's good then. Okay. Move into the other business, council appointments. Councillor Morrow replaced me on the joint landfill committee on October 26th. And we decided, is everybody okay with their appointments where they are? Other than that one, of course, we gotta redo that.
I'm good with where I am.
I'm good.
Okay, everybody seems to be okay, then that was an easy one.
Actually, if there's still time, I wouldn't mind being with Doug with the cemetery committee, if that's possible. Or whether another individual should be or could be, or.
I'm
We don't
not
actually have a cemetery committee at this time.
Yeah, there's like,
Oh,
very seldom,
okay.
okay, well, that's the last, agenda, item on the agenda, so that's the end of the meeting. So resolution 26-22, moved by Councillor Morrow, seconded by Councillor McGrath, that the meeting now adjourn at 7:42 p.m. All those in favor? Carried.